All right, yeah, we'll get started. Thank you everybody for coming. This is the Old Colony Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee meeting. It's been a while since we had our last one. I believe the last one was December of 2020. So yeah, it's been a while, but it's good to get this started back up again. I think we'll just, I don't know if Mary, you want to do some opening remarks now, or we can do introductions first.
I'll do this, and I think just for saving on some time, we could possibly go through, but as everybody knows, within the participant, everybody's asking, just to put the community they're from. Welcome, thank you, Kyle, first and foremost for organizing this. I think it is something that you and Charlie and others have been talking about for a while, and I'm glad to see this be rejuvenated. As a cyclist myself, and I know many on this call are as well, but it is, as we are seeing gas prices rise, we are also seeing the need for cyclists and taking your bike to work. And, I think that there with a whole host of things, the fact that we're talking about having conversations with all of you, as well as those that have not been participating. So I do welcome everybody. I want to say thank you again to Kyle, Pete Sutton, and others from the state, and look forward to having a robust conversation and then continually to grow this group into a large community-based with some ideas, and certainly keeping safety in mind. So, so with that, Kyle, I'll turn back to you.
Okay. Thank you, Mary. So I'm just going to go through our towns, see who's here on the meeting. I'll start with if there's any elected officials here. I don't know if I saw any on the list.
Yes, from Josh Cutler's office. Sorry.
You also have Christopher Jean from Rep. Kathy Linatra's office on the line as well. Thanks for having me this morning. I'm glad to be here and listen in and see see how we can be of help to you guys. So thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. All right, so we'll start. Is there anybody from Abington?
John Stone.
Thank you. Avon. Bridgewater.
So Michael Dutton is on the meeting.
Thank
So
you.
is Merrill County Hunt.
Sean Anderson from West Bridgewater.
Shane O'Brien from Bridgewater.
Thank you. Do we have anybody from Brockton?
Three of us, four of us, Rob May.
Yeah, welcome. Duxbury. East Bridgewater.
Yeah, John Haynes, DPW.
Easton. Halifax. Hanover. Hanson. Kingston.
Hi, I'm here.
Welcome. Pembroke. Plymouth. Plimpton. Stoughton. West Bridgewater.
John Anderson, West Bridgewater.
Welcome.
DPW.
And,
Thanks.
finally, Whitman. And is there anybody here from BAT? I think I saw Michael.
Yeah, I'm here, and Kelly Forster as well.
MassDOT, obviously Peter Sutton is here.
Good morning, everybody. Barbara LaChance from District 5.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, it's Raisa from the Office of Transportation Planning and PO Liaison.
And Kyle, in the attendee list, there is C Senior Mass DOT DS Highway.
Thank you. All right, yeah, I think that's, if anybody else, is there anybody else we missed? You can introduce yourselves.
This is Galen from Mass Bike, statewide advocacy.
All right, thank you for being here.
Cheryl Ann Senior, Mass DOT, District 5.
Hey, Cheryl.
Hi, everyone.
All right, so I
Take it
think
away,
that's
Kyle.
All right, here we go. Yeah, so the purpose of this committee is to provide a forum for communities, citizens, and organizations to discuss bicycle and pedestrian transportation issues. And we're here to hear what other communities and groups are doing to move bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure and best practices forward, and to discuss how the Old Colony region how we can become more bicycle and pedestrian friendly. So here's the agenda for today. We did welcome and introductions. First up will be Peter Sutton, Bicycle and Pedestrian Program Coordinator for MassDOT. And then we'll go into talking about the Shared Streets and Spaces Grant Program. We'll talk about a couple bicycle and pedestrian projects in the Old Colony region that'll be presented by Sean Bailey. Then we'll have an open discussion on any bicycle and pedestrian issues, and then next steps, and then we'll adjourn for the day. So I'm going to pass this over to Peter Sutton, the Bicycle and Pedestrian Program Coordinator from MassDOT, and he's going to be discussing MassDOT's bicycle facility inventory and bike update reporter.
Thank you, Kyle. And please call me Pete. Everybody does. And yes, that is true. I will be talking about a couple new products within MassDOT's GeoDot website, the bike facility inventory and the bike update reporter. But I also want to take advantage of this situation by giving everyone, because it has been so long since we've met, to just give you an update on what's happened with both of the MassDOT statewide bicycle and pedestrian plans since they were released in 2019, what we've accomplished since then, and more importantly, where we want to go with them in this next phase. That pertains to a lot of folks at the district level. Glad you're on the call. And at the municipal level. So this is a great group, and I'm really happy that we're reconvening this. Kyle, is it your intent to meet 4 times a year with this group?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, quarterly.
Okay, great. Do I have the screen sharing capabilities?
You should. I'm going to stop sharing mine.
Okay.
Yes, I made you a co-host, so you should be able to share your screen.
Okay. Bring up list here. Everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so yeah, just a brief background for some of the folks that have not been following MassDOT's bike and ped plans for the past couple of years. The plans were released in 2019. I'm happy to say that COVID did not really slow down our implementation process. In FY21, we completed quick build safety, connectivity, and equity improvements for people to walk and bike in various locations statewide. We completed 10 miles of shared use paths and multi-use trails. We launched our bicycle and pedestrian counter program, which was a pilot program originally, and I'm happy to report that it is now permanent. I know that the city of Brockton, we installed one right on Route 123, Center Street, right in the downtown area. And there's a website that you can check out the counts there. We also launched a winter operations snow and ice removal pilot program that we're working to improve. Additional investments made through the municipal programs, roadway reconstruction, pavement and bridge programs. Also, there's a link here to the bike and ped update from 2021 that I'll be happy to drop in the chat screen later. Some photos down below. Opening of the Cochituate Rail Trail in Natick was a huge event last October. Basic nuts and bolts kind of repairs happening in Westfield, new crosswalks, new safety signals, new sidewalks going in along Route 20. There's bike and ped counter installation happening. That takes us to FY22. We're doing more safety, connectivity, and equity improvements for people to walk and bike various locations. Also announced last October by Governor Baker, a commitment to construct the Mystic River Pedestrian Bridge between Somerville and Everett, Assembly Station and Encore Boston Casino Resort. That will link the Northern Strand and the Mystic River Trail Network, and about 5,000 new units of housing that are going up on both sides of the Mystic River between Somerville, Medford, Everett, and Chelsea. So it's going to be a huge game-changing project for folks biking and walking in that area. We also launched a bicycle safety pilot program on the Mass Avenue Bridge over the winter, where we actually gave the Mass Ave Bridge a road diet between Boston and Cambridge. And I'm happy to report that there have been no gigantic traffic jams or backups as a result of that. So we're expected to make that permanent sometime this year. We do have to work on intersection improvements on both sides of the bridge in Cambridge and Boston, but those are works in progress. We also have an MBTA bike parking program to improve and increase bicycle parking at transit stations, and additional investments made through the programs like Kyle had referred to earlier, like the Safe Streets and Spaces program, Complete Streets program, Safe Routes to School. I know we're going to have some people talking about that later on in the meeting. All great projects, and some more photos of the work going on down below. So that takes us to our next phase. Back in April, I met with all of the MPO managers at the monthly meeting. I know that Charlie was there, so he heard this pitch, but I'm gonna, for the benefit of everybody else, the next phase of implementation from the bike and ped plans is beginning to take shape within my Office of Transportation Planning and the Secretary's office. I know a lot of you know Jackie DeWolf. She's the Director of Sustainable Mobility, and we're heading this charge. This is the perfect time to tap the resources of the regions, regional planning agencies, and municipalities to help create a comprehensive vision map and target setting for performance measures. The bike and ped plans are loaded with performance measures and targets that we want to set as far as adding new facilities to bike and walk throughout the entire state. Here are some of the current data sources that we plan to utilize: all MassDOT data resources within GeoDOT, the capital investment plan, which just got released from 23 to 27, the complete streets prioritization plans. There are 218 communities now that have put together prioritization plans. We now have streetlight traffic data to measure demand at the local level. And we use that traffic data to update our methodologies in both plans, the potential for everyday biking and walking for this year, 2022. Here are some of the metrics that we're currently using. MassDOT Tracker, that's our department's performance for each fiscal year that gets released at the end of each year. Highlights related to bike and ped metrics include significant increase in mode share for bike and ped travel during the second year of the pandemic. Also, vehicle miles traveled compared to bike and ped and its implications for climate related issues. Also, the 2021 MassDOT bike and ped pedestrian update that I included earlier, which included state roads, local roads, shared use paths, and sidewalks. So this next phase for this year that we're really looking to drill down in is input regarding the submittal of any recently released multimodal plans at the regional level. And when I pitched this in April, I'm happy to report that every regional planning agency in the state got back to me with their most recent plans. So very happy about that. Here are just some examples that were sent in by SERPED, Central Massachusetts, and Franklin County. And also some great plans that are happening at the municipal level too, that we had found out about happening in Watertown, Pittsfield, Westboro, just to name a few examples. Which leads us to, I wanted to use this as an example. OCPC sent their active transportation study. This is great timing as it was just released back in October 2021. And I'm already going through this. Doing kind of side-by-side comparisons, just as an example, if anyone has seen the sidewalk gap analysis that was done for all the communities within OCPC and comparing it to our updated potential for walkable trips, you'll see both maps pretty much aligning very closely, which I'm quite happy about. It'd be pretty embarrassing if they did not. The map on the right is our methodology, which has the highest demand and the medium demand in orange. And on the map that OCPC put together, there are several areas in Brockton, just to use as an example, where some potential sidewalk expansions are needed, and they are overlapping with some medium to high areas and our potential for walkable trips. So a good first cut at the data reveals that. I also was going down to the level of service that was performed on all the communities within this region, the level of stress. Obviously, red is in the highest, and that also corresponds with the greatest demand within the downtown Brockton area. Looking to get a little deeper into the data there, and hopefully work in the future with the regional planning agencies, which brings us to our next steps. We're in the process within MassDOT of procuring services via one of our many on-call consultant projects. Once we gathered all of the regional plans from all 15 RPAs throughout the state, we realized that it was pretty daunting for just one person like me to try and collect and sort out. So we are going to tap the resources of some of our on-call consultants to do that work. Since 2019, as many of you know, the work is focused on data collection and project delivery, primarily just on MassDOT roadways, roads that are under our jurisdiction. And now we need to go to the next phase for planning work at the regional level too. So I anticipate this year that we're going to have follow-up meetings with not only the MassDOT districts, but with the regional planning agencies and some select municipalities once we start getting a better idea of all the local bike and ped data that we're working with. Obviously, that will include some walking and cycling site visits, and we're also going to explore some funding opportunities. Which leads me to, let me bring up some of you that attended the Massachusetts Bike and Pedestrian Advisory Board meeting last month. We rolled out MassDOT support for the latest government program, the Safe Streets and Roads for All. Some of you may be familiar with that already, but just a very quick overview that I'll give. The bipartisan infrastructure law establishes the SS4A discretionary program, $5 to $6 billion over the next 5 years to prevent roadway deaths and serious injuries. MPOs, cities and towns, and other special districts that are subdivisions of a state are eligible to apply. These activities include a comprehensive safety action plan, planning, design, development activities in support of an action plan, and carrying out these projects and strategies identified in the action plan. The notice of funding opportunity was released back in May. Applications are due September 15th. Again, I'll include this PDF to send over so that folks who are interested can take advantage of it. There's also some upcoming webinars coming alongside it. 40% of the action plans and grants supplemental activities, 60% of funds for implementation grants, which is actually starting projects. Joint multi-jurisdictional applications are allowed too, which is great if you're an MPO or a regional planning agency. You can work across towns to get certain projects done. So we urge people to consider applying. MassDOT's closely following the program and thinking of how best to support these applications. Impact crash data portal that MassDOT updates on a weekly basis. High-risk areas. You're an expert on your municipality. What are you considering and what do you anticipate needing in terms of assistance? All great stuff there. I know that I just threw a lot of info at you. So before I go on to the next section, be happy to answer a few quick questions if anyone has any regarding all the info that I just put out there. I just saw something in the chat. Does anyone have a link to the bike counter website? Yep, I can definitely bring that up and put it in there if someone has not already, or have they?
Sean Bailey put it in there.
Okay, great. Yeah. I should mention that we have 8 different counters throughout the state. One of them's in Brockton. There are a few around the Boston region. One is down in Fall River, I believe, where the Quikasham River Rail Trail crosses over Route 6. So yeah, great stuff, especially if you're into the number crunching. So I am going to, with that, I'll highlight some of the products, GIS mapping projects that Kyle referred to right at the very beginning. Some of you, hold on a second, let me just move this. Some of you may be familiar already with the bicycle facility inventory. That's something that we rolled out, the latest phase upgrade of it at last December's virtual Moving Together conference. Can everybody see the map?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is now like the 2.0 version of our original bike facility inventory. This is basically all of the existing and planned bike projects and infrastructure around the entire state. But now we've added to that legend all of the MassDOT projects that are funded for construction and they're currently under construction too, which is very helpful. And we've also we have it divided up into 4 categories: planned changes, and the existing bicycle facility inventory is all in solid. Everything in dashed is in planned. We also have an extensive filter system up here that I won't get into, but if you want to look at just the existing layer, you can filter that on and off, or the planned layer, and then you can go down and drill a little deeper and actually focus on whether or not you want to look at each facility type, whether it's shared use path, separated bike lane, regular bike lane, or bike and pedestrian priority roadway. There's a cool interactive feature that we also added to the bike facility inventory. I'll highlight this project in Stoughton. This is MassDOT project number 607403. I'm sure the folks in D5 know about this one. This is on Route 138. It's funded for construction. And we actually have this cool feature where you can click on and it takes you right to the MassDOT public-facing project info webpage that gives you all the information that's going on. These are the corridor improvements on Route 138. This project is intended to address safety, congestion, lack of multimodal accommodations. Proposed improvements include roadway rehabilitation, construction, sidewalks and curbing, restriping of all travel lanes to provide bike accommodation, shoulders. Hopefully we can make some of those protected bike lanes. That's the intent. It gives you the amount. It tells you what year it's funded. So very helpful info here, linking to the MassDOT project info website. So This is a feature that I'm constantly updating, literally every week. Entering new projects in, especially with this whole new slug, with the capital investment program being finalized all the way up to fiscal year 27. There are some, like I said, there are some projects highlighted that are in orange that are under construction, like the Mattapoisett Rail Trail down here. That hopefully will be wrapped up sometime this year. Also, you know, just around the entire state, a lot of trails projects on Cape Cod. Always, we're looking to extend that network throughout the entire region. So just a lot of interesting stuff, and trying to keep things updated and as current as quickly as possible. The other piece that I wanted to highlight was the bike update reporter, which allows members of the general public, such as yourselves, to actually submit bicycle infrastructure, whether it's going to be planned or existing. We've created this great user-friendly platform here within GeoDot. I've focused in on, I think, East Bridgewater. I'll just give you a quick demo. Where you can update via pull-down menu. Say there are some planned bike lanes going in along Route 104. So we can click on it just with a click of the mouse. Hopefully it'll...
While you're doing that, while you're doing that, Kyle put in the chat the facility inventory as well as the reporter. So thank you, Kyle.
Okay, great. Thank you. Hold on a second. I may have to reload this just because it's been up for a while. Yeah, there we go. I'll just zoom in here a little more. Give you guys a quick demo. This has been used by a lot of folks at the municipal level. As you can imagine, MassDOT, it's a challenge enough keeping up with all of the infrastructure that we're putting in, and oftentimes there are lots of other projects just at the local municipal level that sometimes we're not even aware of. So this is great if you can take advantage of this and submit in things like this. So yeah, here we go, where Route 106 in West Bridgewater, you put in attribute. You can put in the from point if you know it. Here we can just put in, for an example, West Street to North Elm Street. We'll put that in here. It already knows that it's on Route 106 and within the town of West Bridgewater, which is helpful. And you can pull down, there's going to be a facility type of bike lane planned. If it's not a MassDOT project number, you don't need to fill that in. If it's a funding source, you can put funded for construction, under construction. If there's no funding attached to it yet, you can just put in envisioned as something in your long-term plans. Any other comments that you want to put, and then you just populate your name, email, and organization. And it's pretty straightforward. And we've been getting a lot of new projects, like I said, especially at the local level, stuff that kind of fell under our radar that we're constantly adding to. So, you know, a couple great tools that you can take advantage of. By all means, I would like everyone to do a QA QC of the bicycle facility inventory. If we have something missing, or if something is wrong, if something is planned and it's already existing, by all means, let me know. And again, this bike update reporter, you're welcome to populate it yourself. But if you're a bit intimidated by it, you can always send any of those updates directly to me. Most of you have my email contact, and happy to provide you know, updates and assistance as it goes. So with that, I'll take any other questions if there are any.
Kyle? Yep.
Pete, I had a question.
Okay.
You mentioned there's 8 bicycle counters. Are there any plans to put any more at some point?
Yeah, there is. Now that the project has moved from the pilot phase to an actual MassDOT program, yes, we are planning on doing a much larger statewide rollout. And again, we'll be contacting folks at the district level, at the regional planning agency level, because, you know, they've proven to be invaluable tools, just showing where, you know, there's a lot of bike activity already that we weren't even aware of. There's one project that I'm really excited about that I lobbied hard to put in. That's on the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail out in Acton, where we're about to open a bridge crossing over Route 2 that's going to connect both sides of the Bruce Freeman Trail, and that's going to account for, I think, 16 or 17 miles of uninterrupted bike traffic. And that's going to be really great to see what the before counts are, which are currently ongoing, and the after counts once that opens this summer. So, you know, just another great wealth of data that we're really excited about looking to see once we open these new facilities, because it just, you know, success begets success. And, you know, once we see that huge jump in numbers, it's going to definitely make our case much stronger for adding even more of these counters and facilities to go with them.
Yeah, definitely.
Sean Anderson from West Bridgewater. I got a question. When we put down the bike lanes and all that, what do we have to have for signage? Can we just get away with arrows? Do we have to have it green? Do we have to have the arrows with it? Do we have to have signage as well? Or can we just get away with signage or on the road itself? Or do we have to have it posted as well?
I think you have to check the MUTCD manual, but I think at the very basic, once you stripe in the bike lanes, yeah, that the arrow and the symbol within the lane is a definite must. I've seen bike lanes all across the state where they have that, but they don't necessarily have signage. I know that for MassDOT projects, we have both, just so we're in compliance with the regs, but I know that things can be slightly different at the local level, especially when it's a road under local jurisdiction. But as far as the basics go, once you stripe in something, definitely the arrows and the symbols. I think green paint is optional, but it's also a nice amenity for motorists as well as the cyclists to delineate, you know, the space.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? And I saw Sean Bailey just posted, Pete, your email. So if anybody has any questions, they can reach out to you.
Yes, yeah, always. I know that a lot of you on the call I'm in regular contact with, so keep up the good work, and thanks for letting me present.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's appreciated.
Yes, thank you, Pete. Would you like me to put your phone number in the chat as well, or would you? Or is
No,
just
email is probably the best way to contact me.
okay? Very good.
All right.
Chike, did you have a question?
Yes, I have a question. That's a question I asked a long time ago. The bicycle seat was designed a long time ago. And I know the bicycle seat for men is very dangerous. It's only somebody that, like me that will talk to the designers to look at it again. The bicycle seat, to redesign the bicycle seat for men.
So
The
you're
way it is-
you're talking just about bicycle seats?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
It is a health hazard for men. It was designed a long time ago and haven't looked into it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's another thing that we don't necessarily get directly involved in, but as bicycle use just keeps on growing and growing, different types of bicycle models and designs keep on coming up, especially now with e-bikes, and you know, they're designed for maximum comfort. So point definitely taken on how things can definitely be improved and upgraded. You know, a rider who is my age, which is 55, certainly has different needs than someone who's 15, right? Unfortunately, that's part of the aging process.
it's not only aging process. The way the current bicycle seat is designed is terrible for men with for postage, whether you are young or old.
Right.
So they need to look into it and redesign it.
Yeah, definitely something that that maybe we can highlight. We're doing our Moving Together conference again. We got a date set November 1st, so that could be an interesting topic. I'll definitely jot that down and look into it more. Thanks.
Okay.
Charlie, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, thank you, Kyle. And thank you, Pete, for a wonderful presentation and all the efforts. One of the things we were thinking about with the bicycle inventory update, do you report out maybe through MassDOT Tracker the net new miles of sidewalk added, bike lanes on an annual basis and what's coming up? And
Yep, definitely. That happens every year. And I'm happy to report that, like I said at the beginning of my presentation, we've been averaging like 10 miles of shared use paths over the past like 2 or 3 years, which is pretty great. I don't have the exact number for the amount of miles of sidewalk added, but it's pretty considerable over the past like 3 years. All that info is in Tracker, which is a great resource for that. And hopefully we can carry on. Obviously, with all the new federal funding, pots of money, all of the infrastructure bills, I think I speak for everyone when I say that we're in kind of an unprecedented time where there is a lot of funding to do a lot of great projects. And who knows if this will ever come back again. So let's definitely ride the wave and make the most of it.
Peter, I had a quick question. You mentioned the possibility of, this is John Haynes with the town of East Bridgewater. You mentioned the possibility of multi-jurisdictional projects and looking at those and how we might coordinate. One area specifically that we've looked at is our Route 106 corridor, which connects to West Bridgewater. Sean's familiar with it, and the opportunity to tie that into Mass DOT, because our Route 106 connects directly into Route 18, which then is the main arterial collector for Bridgewater. And the idea that you could potentially develop a shared street or a shared road. What in your thoughts would be the best way to approach a project like that? We work really closely with the town of West Bridgewater as it is now, but to be able to utilize, from per se the center of their town or their high school through our Route 106 to Bridgewater Center, where currently there is no per se bicycle lane or bicycle accommodations at all.
Yeah, I would look into that to that new program, the Safe Streets for All. As I referenced earlier, I don't know if anyone's dropped that link in the chat screen, but I'd be happy to. And the folks from District 5 are on the call too, and I'm sure they would be happy to work with the communities down there too.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
It sounds like a great project.
Registered for their webinar next Monday.
Okay, great.
Info.
Hey, Pete, I have a quick question. With the bicycle and pedestrian counter program, I know you said that it's kind of it's moving on from a pilot phase into an actual program. Do you happen to know where the additional locations may be for where counters would be installed?
It is something that we're working on. I expect that probably at some point this year in the summer or fall, our traffic highway safety folks will come out with that list after doing a lot of internal meetings with folks, and we'll certainly let you guys know. Maybe whenever our next meeting is scheduled, we might have a partial or draft list to share.
Yeah, that would be great. Just curious if any would be in our region.
Yeah, we're looking to have them all across the state. Geographic and regional equity, definitely.
Kyle, Galen has his hand up.
Excellent. Thanks, Mary and Kyle and Pete and everybody for being here. This is Galen from Mass Bike. Got a question maybe for you, Pete, and also the folks representing municipalities here on the Complete Streets process. And as I understand it, municipalities who are Complete Streets munis, like every 5 years or so, revamp their policies. And I'm wondering if that's still the case and if that's currently ongoing, or kind of if folks can speak a little bit towards how municipal policies and state guidance and funding kind of are kind of continuing education, if that makes sense. And if there is actually that, I think it's 5 years that every municipality has to re-up their policy. And I'm wondering if that's being held to, or if any ways that the DOT is helping that process along.
I can certainly look into that. I know that we're just at the 5-year anniversary of the whole Complete Streets funding program. So that does sound in line. I'll next time I talk to our Complete Streets coordinator, which is actually this week, we have another round of grants to score, of applications to score. So I'll definitely ask that. And, for the communities that have successfully implemented their Complete Streets project, we definitely encourage you to keep submitting, because the Complete Streets program is also now a permanent project that we have 2 rounds for every year, and we will continue to.
And I just shared my screen, the Massachusetts Complete Streets Funding Program participation map here. I'll put the link in the chat, but this is a great resource because you can highlight over a town and it'll bring you to the list of approved projects. It'll tell you when the prioritization plan, when that was implemented, as well as when the municipal policy was implemented. I know Kingston, I believe, was the most recent with their prioritization plan on April 8th of this year.
Yeah, again, another website that is pretty basic, but contains a ton of useful information for all 351 communities in the state, or the 288 anyway that have submitted for a Complete Streets prioritization plan. We're getting there. We want to get all 351 before it's all said and done. We're nearly there.
Ray, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that Sean and I went to the Stoughton Transportation Task Force meeting, and they were talking about re-upping their prioritization plan. So I don't know if they're looking at their, I don't remember him, Mark, talking about looking at the policies per se, but they are redoing their prioritization plan, which I think is part of the process. And they were one of the towns that were successful in early on in taking advantage of the program. And I think they have, they have projects that they had a prioritization plan and implemented projects. So they are redoing their prioritization plan.
Great. It's good to hear.
And I guess the only thing that I would add to the conversation is that the conversations between communities are great. Please utilize Old Colony Planning Council's expertise and staff. We have great relationships with Mass DOT as well as federal government folks. But if there is ever that time that you're looking to perhaps convene, don't know how to maybe reach out, that's our role. And we continue to do that. Certainly our delegates who are on, Val Massard from Kingston, as well as, I know I saw somebody else on here. Oh, John Hayes from East Bridgewater, between the MPO, the JTC, the Old Colony Planning Council meetings, we'll be holding an expo at the end of this year to really kind of do exactly this, to having transportation and planning and economic development all kind of coexist, but really kind of working toward the quality of life and the matters of importance that are within your community. So we as a regional planning agency would really like to make sure that we're your partner in this.
Thank you, Mary. Anybody else, or we'll move on to the next agenda item? All right. All right, so next up is I'm going to talk a little bit about the Shared Streets and Spaces Grant Program. So this program provides small and large grants for communities to quickly implement or expand improvements to sidewalks, curbs, streets, on-street parking spaces, and off-street parking lots in support of public health, safe mobility, and renewed commerce in their communities. So the last round of this grant, there are awards to Avon, Plymouth, and Whitman. Avon received $200,000 to narrow streets, add pedestrian safety beacons, install new wayfinding, and construct 1,000 feet of a protected shared use pathway. Plymouth received $139,000 to make safety improvements at 5 vulnerable intersections, including signal upgrades, new crosswalks, and ADA compliant ramps. And finally, Whitman received $184,000 to install curb extensions, ADA compliant ramps and crosswalks, new shade trees, benches, and new bike parking at the intersection of Washington Street at South Avenue and Temple Street, Route 27. Currently, the application process for the current round that closed on March 1st. I don't know, Pete, if you have any idea of when those awards might be coming out, the announcement.
Yeah, I would imagine very, very soon, hopefully within the month.
Yeah, if anybody does anybody have any questions regarding the grant program?
I'll just say that you know, this was one of the most successful initiatives that MassDOT established. It came out of the whole pandemic lockdown of 2020, where we just thought, how can we help local communities and municipalities? And it has been a huge success. $33 million, I think, thus far has been allocated to it, and more to come. And the great thing is that you've highlighted that it's not just about safety features, but it's also some communities have used it to build shared use paths and other infrastructure. So and I think it's been extended to actually buying certain types of maintenance equipment too. So huge success.
Yeah, it's a great program. All right, next up, Sean Bailey is going to be talking a little bit about some projects in the OCPC region with bike and pedestrian aspects.
Yes, thank you, Kyle. Hello, everyone. For anybody who may not know me, my name is Sean Bailey. I'm a senior transportation planner here with Old Colony Planning Council. The first project in the OCPC region that I'll be talking about is in the town of Plymouth. It is on Billington Street. And the basis of this project is sidewalk gap removal, as well as adding in bicycle accommodations. So basically the parameters of this project is to close the remaining 700-foot sidewalk gap along Billington Street. The length of this road of this project is from the intersection of Billington Street at Summer Street, and it'll extend down Billington Street all the way to Morton Park to add in sidewalks that do not currently exist, as well as replace some sidewalks that are not ADA compliant. ADA curb ramps will also be a part of this project where they will need to be installed. And also for bicycle accommodations, they will be installing sharrow markings and signage along the roadway to allow for all modes of transportation, vehicular, bicycle, and pedestrian. And with this project, Kyle and I have visited this project site with our OCPC drone program. We have taken before pictures and video of the project site, And once this project is completed and all of the construction has been completed, we will revisit the site with the drone to take after pictures and video to show what the street looked like before the work was done and what it will look like once the work has been completed. And the second project is in the town of Stoughton. It is the Wilkins School Safe Routes to School project. It was in, the construction has already begun. The parameters of this project, it is on Central Street, which, on which the Wilkins School is located, between Pratt's Court and the intersection at Pearl Street. It will involve construction as well as reconstruction of sidewalks along the southerly side of Central Street. Sidewalks already currently exist on the northerly side. Additionally, from the sidewalks, there will be some minor street widening of Central Street to accommodate 5-foot bicycle lanes in each direction, as well as construction of ADA compliant curb ramps and pedestrian warning signage, installation of new school zone flashers, and lastly, the installation of a hybrid traffic signal along Central Street at the Stoughton Fire Department location is also included in this project. The current status of the project, they are installing drainage at the eastern end of the project site. They are awaiting, the town is awaiting to relocate town-owned fiber optic cables. Comcast will begin the transfers once that phase is reached. And that is the update for that project. According to the MassDOT TIP project information site, this project is currently at 8% complete. And, being originally from Stoughton, I think I can speak on behalf of everybody from Stoughton, or, especially parents who visit the school. This project is long overdue and will bring a lot of stress relief to anybody who visits that area, especially during the beginning and end of school day for student pickup and drop off. And does anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you.
When do you expect the Plymouth project to be completed?
I'm not sure when the estimated completion date for that is. I'll reach out to, I don't believe James Downey's on the meeting today, but I'll reach out to him and find out.
I was just wondering, would it be something that would be done this year?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
The drone project sounds very cool. I'm already getting ideas for the Moving Together conference. That would be another great session to have. But well, of course, we'll wait, especially if it's completed, with the before and after footage. That'd be great.
Yeah, that seems like the before and after shots of the drone. That seems like what a lot of communities are interested in right now. All right, thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
All right, so now we're just going to have open discussion. If anybody has any bicycle and pedestrian issues in their community, or anything, other bicycle and pedestrian issues you want to talk about, I will just say, Pete, would you be able to share your the presentation you did with me? So I'll send that out to people who were on the meeting today.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. Thank you. Yeah, does anybody have anything else?
I'd be interested if Ray's still on the line. What the feedback has been since you released the plan in October. Has there been a lot of it from all of the different communities highlighted?
Ray, I think that's for you. Yep, I think there's some technical difficulties. Are you there, Ray?
I'm sorry?
No, you were asked a question in terms of, since the report was released, has there been any kind of feedback or anything of that nature.
On the active transportation study?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I haven't.
okay. But it is out there for people to review. I think it's got a lot of great information in it, and MassDOT's certainly going to be using it as a reference going forward.
Just a
Thank you.
suggestion just a section on that, Ray. Maybe we can just do even a special issue of a newsletter to get that out based upon some of the discussion today. Charlie?
Yeah, I'll just jump in on that. So one of the things I know communities in the past with our bicycle and pedestrian plans have used that as a platform and as a reference for grant applications. I know the town of Avon has been, very active in applying for, say, Mass Works or what have you, and they reference, the regional bicycle and pedestrian plan, and it talks about the regional connectivity between communities. So I think this is a great platform going forward, and obviously the active transportation study will be one of the inputs into our upcoming long-range transportation plan as well. So, it's certainly a resource for communities to use when they're applying for grants to document the need and the regional connectivity.
Thank you, Charlie. Yeah, so no date set yet for the next meeting, but that'll be taking place sometime in September. So I'll send out an invite for that in the next month or so, and I'll also send along the recording for this meeting as well as the presentation that Pete provided today. Here's the contact information for myself and the other presenter today, Sean Bailey. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to us. Email and phone number on there. So if anybody, I think we're at about an hour, but if anybody else has any questions, we'll be happy to answer them, or any other issues you want to bring up.
Just again, thank you to the legislative offices who participate in today. Your support up on the Hill is critical. And as Galen put in the chat, Massachusetts being #1 in terms of the efforts in terms of pedestrian cycling safety, but to the OCPC staff as a whole, this team is a pretty incredible team. For the communities and organizations on there, continue to utilize them. And just because the next meeting is not to be September, my suggestion is keep in contact on an ongoing basis with Charlie and his team, or anybody from that point, but Charlie and his team, and let's figure out ways how to work with all of your communities. And someday soon, I'd really like to have this really fluid bike path that goes all the way into Boston. So thank you again, everybody. Thank you, Kyle, for your leadership on this.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, and again, thank you everybody for being on the call. And
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
We'll see everyone in September.
Right.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.